The diagnosis was disturbing, but it wasn't frightening. Then it quickly became more scary. And I reached a point where I was hopeless, really. And I tried everything I could think of. I tried all the positive thinking. I love Tony Robbins and Jack Canfield and Zig Ziglar and all those guys. Their stuff wasn't helping me. It wasn't getting me out of a place of helplessness. I got to figure out how can this be a good thing? What can I learn from it? So I had to reframe it. The book, Read This or Die, Persuading Yourself to a Better Life, was really the result of me realizing the only way I was going to be able to help myself is I couldn't change the disease. I tried all the stuff I knew to do that. It's incurable and it's degenerative, so I couldn't change it. Although there may be hope on the horizon through genetic therapy in the future. So I'm hopeful for that. But I also realized, look, I can't change it. So what can I change? I can change my representation of it in my own mind, my representation of it. So I began asking myself different questions like, well, how can I use this? What can I learn from it? What am I willing to do to make it better? Is there anything I can do to make it better? Can I make it better for other people? Can it teach me things that allow me to function in the world in a better way? So learning to ask myself better questions and persuade myself that there was a reason to keep living, because I did reach a point where I was in so much pain and misery and helplessness that I was ready to take my own life. I literally had a couple bottles of pills and a bottle of whiskey sitting on the bedside beside me. I didn't say whiskey in the book. My editor suggested I change it to water. He didn't want me giving recipes to people on how to do themselves in, but I thought it's common enough knowledge. Anyway, editorial decisions, but it was whiskey and 2 bottles of pills. I didn't take any of it. I decided not to do that because it would hurt other people. It was in my pain, put an end to my pain, but cause endless misery to other people in my life. So I decided that's a reason worth living, because I'm at least pleasant enough to have around that people would be sorry if I was gone. That's a starting point. You gotta take what you can find. Yeah. I was a pretty miserable SOB at that point in time, but I shaped up and I found not only a reason to live, but a way to live, even if I have this degenerative disease. And it got lots worse. In fact, I am a little shaky right now, but I was so bad at one point last year, I couldn't walk. I couldn't dress myself. I couldn't brush my teeth. I couldn't feed myself. I was really pretty much helpless much of the time. I started having seizures as well. So I finished the book, by the way, during that period. So what happens next is a missing chapter from the book. And the missing chapter is, because I was able to turn my thinking around, even in that miserable state, I couldn't change the disease, but I could change my attitude, which is everything. Viktor Frankl said that the last freedom man has is his ability to think about the circumstances he's in and change his own thoughts. So that's what I did. And I developed hope, and believe it or not, I was able to be happy and joyous during that period of time. And because of that, I got into a place where I was willing to consider a therapy that I had ruled out before. I thought, my life's already bad enough. I don't need anybody drilling holes in my head and putting stuff in my brain. But I had deep brain stimulation surgery in December because I was ready for it. I was able to do it. I was able to overcome my fear, just go in and do it. And when they switched it on a month later, it changed my life. So like it wound the clock back 7 or 8 years. I'm able to walk, drive, dress myself, take care of my everyday needs with no problem. I'm a little shaky sometimes. It affects my voice a little bit, but the point is I persuaded myself to a better quality of life, even though I couldn't change my external circumstances one iota. And it enabled me, oddly enough, it enabled me to change it afterwards. I had to change me first. That's the point of the book. And that's why it works for anybody. I believe if you read the book, it works for anybody. You don't have to have a big problem like a disease. It could be a smaller challenge like diet, exercise, relationship with family, those kinds, whatever, the problems we all have universally, regardless of our age or our physical condition.